I just got back from Lapland, where I ate some reindeer kebab. And the funny thing about that is, we ate reindeer kebab in Santa Claus Village, and right outside of the restaurants, there was a place where you could pet reindeers and take pictures with them.
I actually went to Lapland once, actually, Brack. It's a really beautiful place. I actually fell in love in Lapland. Yeah, like with a really beautiful woman. I mean, like as deep in love as you can get. I think her name was Cindy, or maybe it was Candy. I can't quite remember. Best $10 I ever spent. Hello, and welcome down to the phlegmy lair of the radiophonic diseased creatures. Scrape the rust off a dirty old boy, because I, Tokyo Chuchu, am going to be your host today. And with me, as always, are two men who always have well-lubricated boys at their disposal. It's Human Metal and Brack. So, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
In case of Human Metal, it's probably more like dogs or something like that, right? I think we found it out in the Valentine's episode. Or a pig, like Dave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why you gonna beat down on a sick man? And I don't mean psychologically
you're definitely sick. You're definitely sick man.
I don't mean a sick mind. I mean, physically sick. You guys are assholes.
You're both sick on the outside and the inside. Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned physically sick and assholes because, Look, Human Metal, when you stick certain things in a pig's asshole, you get sick. That's how it works. So anyway, Human Metal, how are you?
Still fighting a mean cold, so I apologize for not being my usually jolly self. And so there's not much happening with me this week except work. So what's up with you guys?
That's your cue, Brack.
Oh, that's my cue? No, I actually I spent like over 20 hours in a bus. So I have actually watched a lot and played some video games as well. So let's start with that.
You watched movies and played video games on a bus?
Yeah.
Oh man, I couldn't do that. Oh, travel sickness. No.
But like otherwise you have 22 hours of being just bored and staring outside and listening to your neighbor for some reasoning, listening to German rap music for 20 hours long in a row.
Jesus Christ, I would kill myself.
Yes, I was on that.
I mean, if I didn't have a 3DS or something, so smart choice there.
He was just playing German rap music, and for some reason, the soundtrack to Digimon, also the German team version, it's kind of weird.
That is super random.
Yeah, that's kind of random, yeah.
How do these two things fit together?
I think they're both really awful, and German, so that's the mix there.
I tell you what, 22 hours alone, as long as I had my iPod, I'd be totally fine, man. That's 22 albums right there. Sweet.
Yeah, no, I would get bored. But I watched some movies, and one of the movies I watched is Big Hero 6, which is the Oscar winner for like best animated movie. And I don't think it deserves the Oscar. I think like the Lego movie and How to Train Your Dragon were a lot better, but this was still very, very fun. It's like a Marvel movie, only was animated. So many action scenes, lots of jokes. It's very entertaining. It's like one of the most entertaining movies you can watch because of how fast it goes. So it was perfect for the bus ride. And besides that, I started watching the TV show Parks and Recreation. And on advice of some of my friends, I skipped the first season. Because I heard that's awful, it just starts to get good in the second season, so I started the second season, and it's really funny. I'm pretty hooked now, especially like the Ron Swanson character. He's hilarious, he's the best, and I really like the show. And I also played a video game. When I got back, I started playing Ollie Ollie 2. Just got like for free on PS Plus, and it's a sequel to Ollie Ollie. That's why there's a 2 on the end of it. Kind of obvious though. And it's like Trials Fusion mixed with Tony Hawk and then with like 2D graphics, like pixel art. And it's extremely difficult. It's just like the most rage quit game I've ever played. And you just have to scream out loud like after every 10 minutes because you can just die so many times, but it's really, really addictive and really great. So that's all I've done this week.
Die in a skateboard game?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, you die all the time.
Nice.
Like you just fall in acid in one of the later levels if you just miss a jump.
Is the subtitle of Ollie Ollie 2 Tits in the Trolley?
Maybe that's the another sequel, the third one, but no, I'm sorry.
I can't get past it. That old children's rhyme. Ollie Ollie Ollie, tits in the trolley, balls in the biscuit tin. When you're sitting on the grass with your finger up your arse and your balls go ding a ding a ding. Every time I just see Ollie Ollie, that just fucking comes to mind.
That song was also already prominently featured on this show. Performed by you.
There you go. And now you get the sick version of it. Mm.
What? I don't see you for Battle doing stuff with a pig. It's not that sick.
Yeah, obviously, because I have my camera turned off.
Maybe one day, if you're lucky, I'll give you a rendition of the English Country Garden song.
You're already dreading that moment.
So I guess myself. So we've been absent for a couple of weeks, as the eagle-eyed regular listeners will have noted. But so it's finally time for me to talk about Alien Isolation. I wish I was a bit more perkier, but as you can probably hear, I'm also sick. So yeah, Alien Isolation was a fucking great game. Easily the best Alien licensed game that was ever made. Of course, many people in the media said it was too long and too kind of repetitive, or just overstayed its welcome, basically. But as I mentioned on a previous episode, the reports from people who loved the Alien franchise, those people didn't have that problem. It was other people who weren't fans of the Alien franchise who thought they were backtracking too much. But all I can say to those people who had a problem is fucking get some patience, man. Did you ever play Metroid? Like backtracking is a common thing in video games, and in Alien Isolation, it's the same type of thing. You know, you often go back to areas, but it makes the kind of space station feel more cohesive than just going from A to B. You know, like returning to a place you've done to fulfill an objective. But often when you go back to those, like the places that you've already been, you know, something has changed. Bits of it have been destroyed, or there's fires, or, you know, whatever, like things that were powered up or powered down, or the opposite way. So there's always something new to explore in those areas of backtrack. And for me personally, as a huge Alien fan, I just did not get tired of Alien Isolation and being in that world. I just thought it was fantastic. And speaking about the world, the graphics were amazing. Some of the best graphics I've ever seen, ever, in any game. There are times when the game looks photorealistic. Like, it's not so hard to do because it's a science fiction game, and, you know, you've got basically corridors with pipes and stuff and doors. It's not too hard to render, I suspect. You know, but the lighting and stuff, it just looks like you're looking at the set of a movie or something, if you catch it in the right light. And so it's the first real wow, you know, like, holy Jesus, this is another level type shit for me that I've seen on PlayStation 4. So it's really amazing.
Wasn't there like criticism of the character models or something that they didn't look too good?
No, the character models were fine. I think the criticism was the lip syncing was off. I think.
Okay.
But when the game was released, the lip syncing is off. It got patched because it didn't happen in the version of the game I had. It got patched, so it was on release. It was desynced a little, but they patched it and it's completely fine now. So when I played it, which was a while after release, it was completely fine. Talking about the characters, excellent segue there, Human Metal. I feel the characters were really great and very close to what you'd expect from an Alien universe. So Alien and Aliens are amazing films, but let's face it, they don't particularly have deep characters. Yeah, I mean, think about the original Alien film. I mean, Parker, Lambert, Ripley. Yeah, they're nice characters, but they're not specifically deep. I mean, you can't really tell me a single personal thing about the captain of Alien. There's just nothing there to actually dig into.
They were kind of stereotypes, which might have been at that time not stereotypes, but they were specific. They all inhabited specific character tropes that, you know, you find in certain, I don't know, maybe horror movies or movies of that genre, kind of.
Maybe, so, but I think...
Not as super cliche, but they were not especially deep.
No, not especially deep, but they did feel natural, I think, was one of the best things about the film. Especially the way they...
It didn't feel forced.
No, exactly, and especially the way that they were conversing. I think that comes down to Ridley Scott actually going away from the script and telling them to improvise. So there's a classic scene in Alien where Parker is antagonizing Ripley and he snaps at her, and that wasn't in the script. Ridley Scott just told him to keep ribbing Sigourney Weaver and see what happened. Like things like that. And like the opening scene in Alien where they're all talking around the table and they're all talking at the same time, like things like that feel really natural in Alien. Like the conversation doesn't feel, like like forced at all. That's one of the best things about Alien that elevates it.
Yeah, I'm just
beyond
saying,
movie status.
You got the go get him commanding guy, the captain. You have the kind of a bit rebellious second lieutenant guy in Ripley. You have the kind of scaredy cat. I forgot what her name was.
Amber.
Who freaks out a lot, and you got the tough black guy who's also a mechanic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how often those tropes came in movies before that, but you see them a lot these days, and I don't know how many of those Alien established, but those are characters you tend to see in a lot of movies.
Oh yeah,
action movies. Specific character types, and they were all assembled there.
Definitely, but I think like the dynamic between the characters of Alien was a bit special. The way that kind of Ripley really dislikes Ash. And for example, Parker really dislikes Ripley. Like there are some really fantastic dynamics in there. Like you can see when they're talking to those particular characters, like they're actually exasperated to talk to them, which is pretty cool. But anyway, we're sliding into a conversation about Alien here. But the characters, the characters in the game actually a bit like Alien. They're not particularly deep, but they do feel natural for that world. Like they've come directly from Alien. And like Human Metal says, perhaps they're playing to tropes, but they're pretty much standard. And like I feel, of course, it's an Alien game, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything to say that some certain characters die in the game, of course. But there are moments in the game when you're like, oh man, that sucks. I really like that character. Like he was my favorite character, this character, and then that the characters like when certain characters die. So there is it's not. It doesn't affect you majorly, it doesn't make you shed tears, but it does give you that moment of, like, oh man, that blows. I hope that guy would have made it. Like that type feeling. Also, one of the great things about the Alien Isolation is that you're always looking for who's going to be the bad guy, which is amazing. Because, Alien has Ash and Aliens has Burke. So you're always looking who is going to be the douchebag in Alien Isolation. And man, the game just keeps like pulling red herrings and stuff. It's just amazing. That's a bit of fan service in itself. Talking about fan service is everywhere in the game. From the soundtrack, they save the music sparingly, but occasionally just the exact right peak moments, the original soundtrack from Alien comes through. And like for fans, huge fans like me, when those moments happen, you get the original music from the original Alien film. It's like, oh yeah, nerd freak out happening here. Like I just got an erection in my pants. And just other just small things like where Dallas puts the key card into the into the socket of Mother to go into her room, that sound. That's an awful sound. That sounds nothing like the film, but like anyway, like that sound appears whenever you go into like the main computer room and stuff like that. Like small little cues from the film. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. It is a labor of love. Plus, I personally think that not just as an Alien game, there are so many fantastic science fiction moments that, make your hair stand on end. So anytime Ripley, because the character in the game is also Ripley's daughter, puts on her spacesuit and goes outside the ship, like basically there's no danger in those areas. They are just for pure SF spectacle. When you're outside the ship, like fixing antenna arrays, and you got all the debris, and you got the huge gas giant planet and stuff. Like those are eye-popping visuals, man. They're straight out to play to your, the love that all geek boys have of space. It's absolutely amazing, and it's just those moments like you don't want them to end. When you're just in purely enjoying that SF atmosphere of being out there in deep space. It's an amazing. Those moments are truly amazing, and other things like when the huge central computer module just like raises up to the like I say, the strains of the original Alien, the Alien soundtrack in this huge kind of like spinning dome type thing. It's an amazing moment. Like it's like graphical, like wow, geez, that's fucking cool, man. That is awesome cool. And just the last thing I'll say, of course, amazing gameplay. The Alien is a fantastic creature. It's completely random. Obviously, its AI is randomly generated, so sometimes it won't come down, other times it will come down unexpectedly. And you can't really predict what it's going to do. You know, it'll be walking off and you think, okay, it's time to move off. And then suddenly it will turn around for no reason. It's doing the crazy Ivan. It's turning around. So like, it's just an incredible, enemy. Yeah. To face off against. And like at the beginning of the game, it's terrifying. It's truly, truly terrifying. But as you get deeper and deeper into the game, that overwhelming terror lays off, and you know you can start getting through the sections easier or calmer. But I'm telling you, no matter how far you get, when that alien's on you, man, your sphincter puckers up. Like no two ways about it. That is some scary shit. Like when the alien is on you, like it's like, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me. It's amazing. And the other enemies are creepy. Like those androids with the horrible red eyes. Jesus, those things are fucking creepy, man. They are really well designed. And the humans are, you know, fun to fight against. But the thing is, like, it's such a stealth-based game that I basically didn't fire almost any ammo. Like, I saved up almost all of my shotgun ammo. I don't think I fired my shotgun, like, 10 times during the whole game. Like, amazing. So that's how stealthy it is. But there you go. So Alien Isolation. I don't want to ramble on because I could go for hours and hours about Alien Isolation, but who the fuck wants that? Certainly not Human Metal and Brack. I don't think Brack's even listening.
No, I wasn't. Like, he's talking about Alien again. I could just like be silent for like 20 minutes. And...
Well, in Brack's defense, this is the first time for you, Radiophonic Sea Creatures audience, but this is actually the third time for Human Metal and Brack. But that's another story. And with that, we're going to move out of the shallows and into the depths. Welcome back to the depths. So today on the depths, we're going to be talking about the Oscars. No, we're not, actually. So the Oscars were just recently, though, in February. So we thought we'd talk about the Oscars, but then we realized, actually, to be honest, we already talked about the Oscars when we did our kind of Movies of the Year episode. So, and to talk about the Oscar nominations and stuff would be basically just to be repeating ourselves. So what we're going to do is kind of in a crazy kind of radiophonic sea creatures way, we are going to give out our awards for last year. So, let's quickly go around the horn and remind each other, like, of what our actual best pictures were, very briefly, without going into detail. So, mine best film of last year was, The Grand Budapest Hotel, which actually won like 4 Oscars, which I was amazed at. That's awesome. How about you, Brack? What was your movie of the year?
Mine highest rated one was Guardians of the Galaxy, but I also had Boyhood in my list, which I don't know if that won anything. I think it won a couple of Oscars. At least that's a lot of nominations.
How about you, HM?
My pick then was Guardians of the Galaxy, but I would change up my list and put Whiplash at this top now because that movie fucking enthralled me. It was amazing.
I literally know nothing about that film. Like, literally. I think we all had Interstellar on our lists, or at least you two did. That also won an Oscar or two, doesn't it? So I guess we'll kind of start off
for sound mixing of all things, if I remember correctly. And that is the worst thing about the movie. Won an award.
They won for special effects, which is earned.
Definitely.
But those are the Oscars that nobody remembers. I mean, like, does anybody remember the fact that Alien and Aliens are both Oscar-winning films? No. Because they won for, like, the shitty ones that nobody gives a shit about, like best special effects, or, you know, like...
Yeah, but the special effects guys care.
Yeah. I think one of the Transformers probably won an Oscar for best special effects or something.
Maybe.
Oh, Jesus.
They were nominated this year.
See?
Best robot balls in a movie goes to
Yeah.
Transformers
I just looked it up.
2.
The first Transformers is nominated for 3 Oscars.
What?
Yeah, the first Transformers.
That's
Visual effects, sound editing, and sound mixing. Like, nobody cares about those Oscars, but still.
And I wouldn't even award the movie for special effects because in the first one you can't see anything. You can't make out the fucking Transformers if they're fighting each other because it's just giant hunks of metal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
It's horrible.
couldn't give a shit about Transformers. Like, I think, like, I remember my brother saying to me one time, like, Transformers 3, he was like, oh yeah, it's amazing, it made me feel like a kid, like, oh, it's just so badass, and I was like, really?
Yeah, because it reduces your brain cells.
Yeah.
Kills off so many that you get the mind of a kid again. Like
Mentally, you're back to being like a 12-year-old.
After he watched
Yeah.
it, he's like, where's my pajamas? But like,
embryo state.
But like, I actually sat down with a bag of popcorn or whatever and a soda, and it's like, okay, my brother really recommends this film, so I've rented it from the DVD shop. Let's just sit down, like, go in with an open mind, and maybe, maybe I'm giving these films too much slack. And I enjoyed about, like, I don't know, the first hour or stuff with the character stuff. As soon as the Transformers started fighting, my interest just disappeared totally. I was just like, yeah, this is just one big fucking CG hard to see thing fighting another big hard to see CG thing. It's like, I'm totally done. Anyway, but we get totally off point, although there's never a bad time to rag on Transformers. So let's just jump straight in with our first award. So we'll go for a bit of a boring award, a bit of a standard one. So best actor. Yeah. What was your guys' best actor? Who would you give the award to? So how about you, Brack? We'll start with you.
I start with Jake Gyllenhaal for his role in the movie Nightcrawler. And for people that don't know about the movie, it came out last year. It would have made my top 3 list. I think I would have kicked out maybe Interstellar actually out of my top 3 because this movie is really, really good, and especially because of Jake Gyllenhaal. And the movie is about like a guy without a job who finds himself. He sees a car crash, and out of nowhere comes Bill Paxton, of course. Ooh. And he films the car crash, and he's like, oh, like when it bleeds, it leads. So that means like he gets money from like TV stations for selling the footage to people. And Jake Gyllenhaal is like, I can do that, and he starts his own company as like somebody that just goes, looks for crashes or looks for crimes and just starts filming it and trying to selling it to like the TV stations. But the movie is really like a really interesting look at like sensationalist like TV, especially for these days. Like for example, he gets paid more if it's brown on white crime that he films than when it's like a black on black crime or something like that. It's not a joke. It's just like a plot point in the movie. Like he gets paid more if like something happens to a white person in a good neighborhood because that's better. That's more interesting for the news. They can make a better story out of that on the news stations. But Jake Gyllenhaal is just insane in the movie. He's so good. He's like psychopath. He's so psychopathic, and it's like
so fucking creepy.
He's so creepy. He's super creepy.
He's almost at some points you're like you're feeling like you're not watching a human being.
No,
watching a machine or something, or someone who's trying. Who has read about human beings and thinks they are supposed to act in some way. But he doesn't get it. He doesn't quite get it. So he tries to adapt and but or he doesn't care. That's, I guess, better to put it a better way.
No, he tries to at some point. He keeps up appearance. But the most of the movie, he just looks like a hungry animal. It looks like his eyes are just so huge all of a sudden. Like he starved himself to make his eyes just look way bigger than they're like. When you see him in like normal movies where it's just a handsome guy, but in this movie his eyes look huge and he looks like an animal that has been in the desert for like months and hasn't eaten for like a month or something. And it actually reminds me a bit of like the character in Psycho, like the Anthony Perkins character in Psycho. Like it reminds me of that character. So it's really great performance, and I think he's really shamefully overlooked for like an Oscar nomination for like best actor.
I really, really want to see Nightcrawler. It's one of the films I'm most looking forward to. That film just looks amazing. And from what I've even seen in there... in the trailers, like you can immediately see just from the trailers that his performance is like excellent.
It's a disgusting movie about disgusting people, and Jake Gyllenhaal takes the cake in that regard.
Yeah. People in this movie are just such horrible, disgusting human beings. It's just the worst. But super interesting to watch, of course.
Yeah, definitely. Very engaging.
So how about you, Humor Metal? Who's going to be your best actor?
I could jump into Greg's boat there and nominate Gyllenhaal, but I also really liked Rosamund Pike's performance in Gone Girl, probably because of the same reasons, because she sometimes feels so alien and creepy and horrifyingly, real in this movie, like the way she portrays her character. She has her mind set on one goal, and the way she lets that shine through in her performance is pretty damn great. Now, I haven't seen a lot of the other movies that best female actors got nominated for. But yeah, that was one of them, and I would have probably given the award to her because I really liked her performance in that movie. That movie was a bit polarizing for me, and I didn't, like it all the way through, but I really liked her performance. So yeah, I would be fine with giving the Best Actress award to her.
I've never really liked that particular actress, but then again, I've never really seen anything that fully, kind of uses her talents. What I remember her from mostly is like kind of B movies, like Die Another Day or Doom.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the first movie, I've seen her in that got critical acclaim. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, maybe that was a breakout role. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, she was really good in that movie, and I think she's a pretty decent actress. But I haven't seen her in anything good actually either. I think she was in Jack Reacher, but she's kind of forgettable. But she's really good in Gone Girl.
She was in The World's End, but that was a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, although her role was forgettable in that even. So, so I think, I don't know for sure, but I believe my best actor was actually nominated in the Oscars, but I don't know for sure. And that would be Ralph Fiennes, for The Grand Budapest Hotel. So, again, I don't know if he was nominated, but I think he was, or he should have been, definitely. So his performance in The Grand Budapest Hotel is absolutely amazing. It's hilariously funny, and it just anchors that movie. It's the soul of that movie, his performance. So there are so many wonderful moments, in that film. Specifically, so slight spoilers for The Grand Budapest Hotel a little bit. Specifically, I love the scene where he escapes from prison, and after he escapes from prison, he meets his assistant, and he's complaining at his assistant, saying, "Oh, where's my champagne or whatever?" And the guy's like, "Sorry, I forgot that." He's like, "What the fuck? How could you forget that? Like, okay, Jesus, what about my perfume? Did you bring my perfume?" He's like, "Sorry, I forgot that too." What the fuck? Oh my God, you're such a useless human being, Like, I asked you to do two things for me only. The only two things I asked you to do, and you didn't do either of them. You're like, why the hell did you even bother coming to this country? And the guy tells him, in reply, "I came here because of the war, because, my father and mother were killed, and my family was killed, and I had to escape here to basically survive." And then Ralph Fiennes' reaction to that, was like, "I'm so sorry. I'm such a fucking terrible human being for blaming you." And then immediately starts to apologize very profusely to him, immediately, without defending himself in any way, whilst tears are rolling from his eyes. Dude, I'm telling you, it gets me every time. My heart just cracks during that scene. That kindness that pervades from that character, at all times, even when he gets angry. Just a fantastic performance. I know, I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I totally agree, because a character like that, normally, he's so larger than life that most of the time he's in most movies, a character like that would be like a side character, where the main character would be somebody that's more relatable to the average audience. But I think Ralph Fiennes plays it so well that that's not necessary at all. I know that the other character is more of the audience surrogate, the lift boy, But I think it doesn't even necessary. Like at some point, Ralph Fiennes just becomes completely the main character, and it doesn't need like the other character anymore. He's just so good in it.
Yeah, he's amazing. It really is a totally flawless performance, his performance in that. And yeah, just amazing. So, we're going to come on to the next award, and that is going to be Best Supporting Actor. Yeah, so actor in a minor role. So, Human Metal, we'll go first with you this time. Who would be your Best Supporting Actor?
That's gonna be quick because my pick already won, and that's J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. He is amazing in this movie, and he switches so fast between, pretty cool, inspiring teacher and complete despicable asshole. It's fucking great. It's a joy and a horror to watch him. And yeah, it's I actually, I love him as J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man movies, and I'm glad I could turn that image off. Maybe that movie, maybe that would have ruined the movie otherwise, because he's yelling a lot. So that's quite a callback. But yeah, no, he delivers such a great performance in that movie, and got me fooled actually like twice in that movie, because okay, this is a turnaround of his character, and he's so great. Yeah, I enjoyed his performance immensely, and I hope he gets a lot of more gigs of that kind, because great stuff.
Like, I haven't seen the movie yet, but just in the trailer, he is just scary almost. Like,
he's
fucking terrifying.
If you like the guy from Full Metal Jacket, the drill instructor dude and his jokes and stuff like that. J.K. Simmons is Whiplash basically is a music movie version of Full Metal Jacket, of the first half of Full Metal Jacket. And J.K. Simmons is that guy, even more funny and a bit of versatile in terms of tone and voice and everything. But yeah, basically that character who's trying to get the best out of his pupils and everything by, kind of questionable means. And it's hilarious. He is funny and also pretty scary at certain points. So yeah.
He's really just a great actor as well. Like, I think most people know him from like comedic stuff, but he was also in, if you remember, like the HBO show Oz, where he played like a neo-Nazi. He was like really like great at that as well.
Oh, I haven't seen him in that. No.
Yeah, it's a really great performance of him. And yeah, he's just a really good actor, and I hope this maybe gives him like a leading role, because in general he's mostly a side character. So I think he's really good enough for that, to play like a leading role in some kind of movie.
I'm going to go next, I guess, for my one. So, my Best Supporting Actor, for two things, actually, not for just for one thing, and maybe even three things if Brack is on the money. This was the year of Bill Paxton, definitely, for me. Like, he just he started to resurface in many different things. I've always been a big fan of Bill Paxton. He's not a great actor, absolutely not. In fact, he's actually kind of a terrible actor, but he's just one of those actors that when he appears in something, it just either makes you smile or he slightly raises the fun of whatever he's in. So, the reason I would give that award to him is, I'm a long time fan of his, and like I say, he has this kind of, he's a bad actor, but he just has this charisma that just kind of levels shit up. So of course, All You Need Is Kill, or, what was it called? Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck.
Edge of Tomorrow, yeah. All You Need Is Kill.
All of those things.
Yeah. So, basically, his performance as the sergeant in, All You Need to Kill was a delight to see, doing his kind of gruff, sergeant shtick. It was a lot of fun. But, also, aside from that, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show. So, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, relatively, it was okay. Yeah, it was okay. But as soon as Bill Paxton came into it, it took a shitload of more interest up. And whenever Bill Paxton was on screen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he just ate everybody around him. I mean, it was amazing. His performance was absolutely fantastic and hilarious. And just, it's a perfect example of everything that is good about Bill Paxton. He comes on and he's like 50-year-old. But he's got like the spirit of a randy teenager, it seems like. whenever he's around. So, yeah, Bill Paxton, man, just for making me smile and being memorable in everything I've seen him in this year. Like, yeah, just great.
Definitely a joy to watch every time. In Nightcrawler as well.
Yeah. He's even worse. He's like such an awful human being in there, but he's great.
Not as bad as Nick Gyllenhaal.
No.
Yeah.
Like, he's just an awful human being compared to normal human beings. Like,
So
Jake Gyllenhaal is like an awful human being compared to like dictators. Like,
so how about you, Bragg? Who would be your best supporting actor?
a supporting actress, and that is Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, and she also won for Boyhood, and just because she was just so good in there. She is probably like the best performance in that movie, and it's just a good movie in general. But I don't know, like the way she plays it just feels so real, especially if you add that she's like probably like she ages throughout the movie. It just feels so extremely real. And there's like the scene at the end of the movie where she just completely breaks down, and it's really probably one of the most emotional scenes I've seen in like this year in a movie.
And it perfectly encapsulates my experience with that movie as well. I thought there would be more.
Aww.
But yeah, it's a good performance, definitely. I agree. It was it was very much in sync with the style and the feeling of the movie as it being a fictionalized semi-documentary or whatever you want to call it, you know. But coming of age story, and a very very real one at that, because it kind of was, even though that the actors are not, you know, the real people in that story. But yeah, you know, it definitely worked. Her performance felt, like you said, very real and very true to life, and good stuff.
Yeah,
and she won.
Yeah, she deserved it. Yeah.
So the next award is going to be Best Director. So I think I have the most obvious choice, due to my inclination. So I'm going to go first on this particular question. And of course, my Best Director is, of course, Wes Anderson. Like, how could it not be? I mean,
who else could it be?
Yeah, well, who else could it be? I mean, I'm a huge Wes Anderson fan. Like, I deeply love all of his movies. He is my favorite writer-director, I think, by far. Like, I kind of obsessed with his films, basically speaking. And, like, I've watched all of them, like, multiple times. Could probably quote them back to front. And I think, in general, The Grand Budapest Hotel is his best film. I feel often it's a bit like a Ghibli anime that basically is filmed in live action. It's so colorful and crazy, and I don't know, it's just really well done. And Wes Anderson has created this entire universe for himself. That nobody else really, you know, has, that can match, really. I mean, you see a Wes Anderson film, you immediately know 2 seconds in, that's a Wes Anderson film. Like, through his, you know, his stop motion effects, or his, you know, his hilarious kind of attention to detail within special effects, which are basically these miniatures that are obviously miniatures or models or whatever, but it's just has this level of charm to it that's just amazing. I don't know, the scene transitions, or his cameras, or his color style, or that font that's in that same font that's in every single Wes Anderson movie, if you're paying attention. Like, there are so many wonderful things that just add up to a Wes Anderson film, and those little subtle moments of emotional moments, you know. Like, I think he's great at giving you very powerful emotions, but doing it very subtly. Like, I think he's a master of doing that. Little moments of kindness between people that, you know, for people who are inclined like me, like, who get their hearts crushed by simple things, you know, by offering someone a part in their play. Or, you know, like the moment in the Royal Tenenbaums, for example, where Ben Stiller confesses to his dad that he's had a rough year, and his dad just says to him, "Yeah, I know," and puts a hand on his shoulder. Man, fucking kills me every time. Like, Wes Anderson is the master of that, the small gesture that, you know, secretly crushes people. So yeah, and basically, like I say, the Grand Budapest Hotel is just a masterclass in directing. It's just colorful. It's fantastic to look at. It's just visually stunning, you know, and it's just everything that was ever good about Wes Anderson, you know, wrapped up in one film. So there you go. Wes Anderson, best director, obvious choice. Next.
so I think we're gonna go next. And this director made the weirdest, most insane, most unique movie I saw last year. It doesn't get any Oscar nominations, and I had no doubt it wouldn't get any. It's from somebody who made this is his first English-speaking film.
Fucking Snowpiercer! You prick!
It's it's Bong Joon-ho with Snowpiercer.
Oh, I knew it! Terrible film.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh.
Carry on, Brack.
But yeah, this is just the most unique and weird, crazy film I've seen this year, and it's just really I respect the guy that he can pull all this together and even make this a coherent film that's already impressive because of how weird this coherent, most coherent film.
That
Yeah,
film
but
was.
can make this.
You can say many things about Snowpiercer.
No,
One
but
thing
the
you
fact
can
that he can
definitely
make
not
this-
say is it's coherent.
That he can make this movie into a coherent movie is already a feat on its own. It's like it's just insane because the movie, the
It is insane because
story-
it's not coherent.
the story and the source material is so unique and weird that he can make this into a coherent movie, which I think he did perfectly. It's really impressive, and that's probably like the most unique visually movie I've seen this year. The way he works with like the small space, the small space he has, and with like the actors is really impressive, and especially if you consider that this is his first English-speaking movie he's ever made. So I'm really looking forward to whatever he's going to make next, and I hope it's going to be as great or even better.
Okay, 5 minutes of cutting off a fish head.
This is just like you with your fucking letters. That doesn't take 5 minutes. It's like 20 seconds or something.
But 20 seconds, even 20 seconds, it's like more than 20 seconds, Bragg. It's like a minute at least of cutting off a fish head. Like,
Bragg, you have to understand, Choo-Choo is older, times runs much slower for him these days.
To be honest, time should be running slow for me because I'm younger, and for him it should be faster.
Yeah, but that's not
That's
how
how-
life really works.
That's how it works. That's how science works.
nope. Time just gets longer when you're watching Snowpiercer anyway. It's like an hour and a half, but it feels like 4 hours.
Oh, you son of a-
Dedicated to
You didn't even understand the film because you had fucking Japanese subtitles. Well, like at least 20% of the movie was spoken in Korean. I had no idea what they were saying.
That is true, actually.
Lost in translation.
I don't know. I was a bit flummoxed by Snowpiercer, to be fair. It was one of those movies I didn't quite know how to feel about it after I watched it. And then gradually, as time passed, I started to slip into the negative side of things, like dwelling upon it. But yeah.
And you're wrong. It's amazing.
I should probably rewatch it, but I think it was definitely a solid movie, and I liked the direction in that movie. But I don't know if I would call it good. I really have to rewatch it too.
I would call it really
make
good.
a final judgment.
It was one of my favorite movies of last year. So
There were some weird choices in that movie, but they probably were intentional, and I don't know.
It's a weird film when the most memorable thing about it is someone cutting off a fish's head.
oh, you're fucking full of shit. You
No,
know it.
seriously,
You know it.
that's the most memorable scene for me, the fish head scene. I mean, it totally like when that scene came, I was like, what the fuck? What does this symbolize? What the hell is going on? Are these people fishermen? Are they gutting this fish to threaten people? I totally don't understand what's going on. Am I missing some weird culture thing?
You get hung up on the weird things for some reason. That scene, I didn't even remember that one actually.
I do remember it.
Unless you brought it
I
up.
remember like the entire movie. But still,
It's about 10
like,
minutes
it's,
long.
it's typical for Choo-Choo that like he remembers one thing and that ruins the entire movie for him. Like, or one part of a game, it only takes like 5 seconds. He's like, another letter? No, only like 10 letters in a 16-hour game, but still.
60 hours, yeah, you're dreaming.
16.
Oh, 16, okay, that's probably a bit more accurate. So how about you, Human Metal? Who's your best director?
Again, easy way, because the guy I would pick this year already won for best directing, and that's, I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry, Alejandro G. Inarritu or whatever, however his name is pronounced, for Birdman. And I don't know how much of that, what I like about the direction of the movie is cinematography, editing, and actual direction. But the whole composition of it, which I guess is also falls under the responsibility of the director, is fucking great. I love the visual language in this movie. It's awesome. Like, it's really, really engaging. Even if I was kind of on the subject matter in certain parts, and the way the movie actually took specific turns and stuff like that, I really like the visual language of this movie, like the way it was filmed and everything, and that's fucking fantastic. And I guess for that, he deserves the award for best director, and he got it. So there you go, justified. If you want to see a visually appealing and interesting and engaging movie, definitely see Birdman, because I don't think you've seen something like that in quite a while or ever. I don't know. It's super fluid. Like, it's always in motion. It's always interesting. There's always something to look at. And, even if people are just standing around and talking, and, the movie does a lot of neat things with its camera. So, and the way, people engage and interact in specific scenes, and the way it's framed. So, yeah, definitely deserved.
The way it was filmed was definitely impressive, because they made it seem like it was just one cut. There are some cuts in there that they just hide they have hidden with some, in some ways.
Yeah.
But the way it was filmed, it was just, you feel like you're really following, you're in that room with them. That's how it feels. You're really following those characters like they're there, like you're there in the room, which is really impressive.
It seamlessly switches from one character to another as well. Like, you enter the scene with one character and you leave the scene with another character, and like move on to the next story bit. And that was a really interesting way to make this happen. Like, they make the backstage of this play in the movie, they turn it into the actual stage. So it's very interesting.
Yeah,
but
it's very impressive, especially when they switch within time. Like, it's that they skip in time or something without cutting the scene is really impressive to see.
Yeah.
Really, like, unique and really refreshing. But, I didn't catch all the messages it was talking about, and some of it just kind of fell flat for me. But in general, it's a really interesting movie, and I think I really advise you to watch it.
Yeah, I'm totally going to watch that film as soon as I can. As soon as I can get it on DVD or something, I'm definitely going to.
I liked it less than Snowpiercer, though.
To be fair, I like scrotal cancer less than I like Snowpiercer, but only slightly. So we actually, I didn't dislike that movie that much. Just ragging on you. So we're going to come on to the next award, and that's going to be a slightly more interesting one, I think. So this is going to be the best action sequence, of the last year. So
that should be a regular award, though. I mean, so many movies or action movies, and I think there goes a lot of work into choreographing specific scenes. So I wouldn't mind seeing an award for best action scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
So
but
you guys should.
I think that would go against the spirit of the Oscars, though. I mean, the Oscars
it's not
sort
classy.
Of, it's kind of like
it feels like MTV Movie Awards, like best action.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess.
But not in a bad way. This is like what I enjoy as well. Like, but especially because some of the actions are really, really demanding, like cinematography wise. Like, filming an action scene is really impressive to do that in a good way. But they don't get any recognition for it. Like, what some people do with like some of the action films, like fight scenes, the cinematography for that is more impressive sometimes than the people that win the Oscar for cinematography.
Yeah.
But you guys should go first, because mine is obviously right. So, and you guys haven't seen it, so then you guys should go first.
Fair enough.
Tutu, you want to take the lead?
All right, I'm going to take the lead. So, I think the best general action film with the best action sequences I saw last year was Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Agreed.
So I think that film was absolutely
disagreed.
I think that film was absolutely amazing in the action film stakes. So specifically the scene I am going to choose from that film, and of course, spoiler alert for Captain America: The Winter Soldier here, because I'm going to talk about a specific action scene in the film, is the attack on Nick Fury when he's driving in his car and suddenly he gets attacked, and that just action scene is fucking fantastic and sets the tone for the rest of the film, as being like realistic, but with just that slight edge of comic book fantasy in there as well.
It feels a bit like old school James Bond with the gadgets with that car.
Yeah.
In a more realistic way. But it has that type of fun in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly it. And, you know, it's like, also it's on the streets of, it's got that thing like Heat, you know. Do you know the great gun battle in Heat where they're on the streets out, you know, of LA and stuff? Like, it's got that type feeling of it. It's like right there in the public sector, and like right, you know, with random people running away screaming, and just like normal traffic happening and stuff like that. And just the whole way that it builds up, and the minimal music. And if you listen in the background, there's that, it's got that kind of soundtrack going on in the background as the pressure mounts up. It's absolutely fantastic. And the gunfire, the sound design of those action sequences are amazing, because the gunfire is insanely loud, and the explosions just like rock your TV when they come. Like if you're watching with a good pair of speakers like I was, it's just a really fantastic moment, and excited the blood. And like immediately when you saw that action scene for the first time, you're like, okay, I see where this film is going, and I like it. Like,
I would argue that you even see it in the beginning already when you, I mean, that scene is even better, you just mentioned, but already in the beginning when they, you know, try to win back that freighter that is captured by terrorists.
yeah.
Yeah, they did it so much better than in the first Expendables movie.
Yeah.
Like the exactly same like setup in the first Expendables, but it was really boring and awful. But they did it in this one, and it was super exciting and so much fun.
Yeah, and the fight between Batroc and Captain America was so well choreographed and looked so amazing. Actually, whoever is responsible for it, but they injected a lot of interesting little bits in there in this movie to give a lot of scenes more impact. Like the scene where after spoilers again, Nick Fury is shot in Cap's apartment when Cap is following the assassin up the stairs to the roof and through the. When he takes that very sharp turn and rams into the wall with his shield to not slow down and just continues running into the other direction down the hallway. That scene is so amazing. You didn't have to put that in there. You could have make him, I don't know, grab into the corner of the wall or anything. But the way he slammed into the wall and then just keep running, stuff like that, like giving that scene more impact and more power and fierceness. That was great stuff, and there was more of that in that movie that I really liked.
Yeah, it was totally amazing. So there you go, the Nick Fury action scene, from Captain America. So yeah, how about you, Human Metal? What would you be your best action sequence?
I said agreed, and I meant it that way because that would have also been my pick.
But your guys would have been Nick Fury's, because my favorite action scene from Captain America 2 would have been like the highway scene with like that was just a great scene where like there was a great fight between like Captain America and Bucky, and and it's also really well filmed in the way that you actually know where all the other players are in like the environment, like you know where all the other characters are and what's going on at the same time. So it was really great. But my favorite action scene, and in general one of the best like fight scenes of all time, is the last fight scene in the Raid 2. And that's just like a 6 minute long, it's the kitchen fight scene, it's like 6 minutes long, it's the most brutal, most well choreographed fight scene I have like ever seen, I think. It's just insane.
Was that last year as well?
Yes, it came out in America last year, so.
Yeah, that's a great scene. I agree. General in the Raid movies, the fight scenes are fucking insane. The way it's choreographed. And if I heard correctly, some of the characters from the Raid appear in Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I think they have.
Does that mean they're maybe also taking over the fight choreography?
I hope it is.
That would be fucking amazing.
Because I really want to see those fight scenes with like lightsabers. It's gonna be like the best action scenes like ever.
Holy shit.
Those guys are so extremely talented if it comes to like cinematography or just fight sequences. It's insane. And the entire movie in general is like, it's 2 hours long and like at least an hour and 15 minutes of that is just fighting. Like it's just it's just filled with fight scenes. Like the last like 15 minutes in general are just like one big fight scene almost. And
it does tire you out unless you're totally not into that stuff. But if you like good action scenes and martial arts movies, this is a treat.
And there's also a super impressive like car chase in the middle, and especially what they do with the cameras. Like you can actually think online, you can see like a GIF of like the camera goes from like one people is riding next to somebody's car filming it, then they give the camera to somebody that's in the car, and then they give the camera to somebody else on the other side of the car and to go under the car, and it's like one shot. It's insane, like the stuff they do with the camera, and like it's just amazing, and it's like one of the most impressive ways of being filmed, like the movie's filmed so impressively. And the kitchen fight scene in the end, it's one long fight scene. It's like over 6 minutes long with like the main character and the main antagonist, and it's just really impressive, and it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
So we're going to come on to the next award for the Radiophonic Sea Creatures, and that is going to be funniest scene. Yeah. So what was your guys' funniest scene? Human Metal, go.
Basically anything from Guardians of the Galaxy. I would highlight the dance battle at the end and the cliche slow dance between Star-Lord and Gamora, and then the sudden knife to the throat, and Star-Lord's freak out that just caught me off guard, and I laughed so hard in the cinema. It was like, holy shit! His voice gets like 10 octaves higher. It was so amazing, where it's like super smooth in the beginning and then totally freaks out when that happens. Oh man, that cracked me up. I love that scene. It's even better in the German dub. That rarely happens.
Probably not. I don't believe you.
Well,
why did you even watch the German dub?
Because it's the only thing showing in the movie cinema here, you dorp.
You poor soul.
But yeah, no, that rarely happens, but I enjoyed that scene more in the German version. So there you go. Great scenes in this movie. A lot of funny scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy. If you like kind of stupid humor, that is.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to go next. And my actual pick was 22 Jump Street, and there's one point in the movie where I just cracked up laughing for like I was watching the movie and everybody laughed for at least like straight 2 minutes or something. It was insane. And I can't spoil it, so I won't say which point it is. It has to do with Ice Cube. And I think if you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about because it's just hilarious. And I think I've seen the movie at least 2 times in theater, and that's the point where everybody laughs the hardest. So it's amazing. But I can't say that one because spoiler. So I also picked Guardians of the Galaxy, and then mostly everything that has to do with Drax. I think Drax was hilarious.
Oh yeah. That's gonna be in my most memorable quote of the year.
Yeah, like what the pick with like, it doesn't go over my head, but because of my super fast reflexes, I would catch it, like stuff like that. It's really funny.
I loved it.
Actually, I in the movie of the year episode, we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, and or previously when I first saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I was saying I liked that movie, but it wasn't particularly like so special to me. Certainly not as special as you guys, but I think I come around on that movie a little bit, specifically because my daughter fucking loves it. Like she thinks that film's like one of the greatest things ever.
It's her generation Star Wars, I would assume.
Only it's actually really good.
Well, hey, Brack, let me tell you, so a little small secret, yeah? The original Star Wars was fucking great.
Don't get on that tangent, please.
No, I
don't
won't.
have the time.
I won't.
I think one of the funny scenes from Guardians of the Galaxy that made my daughter and me laugh so hard, I think I laughed so hard because she was laughing so hard, was the final scene in the film where Drax is polishing his knife. And the baby Groot is dancing, and then he kind of turns around and the Groot stops dancing. It's like, I don't know, Batista's performance is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's so good in this movie.
Dave Bautista was so surprised.
Really good in this movie. He delivers. I was surprised. I didn't expect that when I heard that he was cast for that role. I was like, but yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I hope he can translate that to his fucking professional wrestling career. Anyway.
Or to his role in the next James Bond.
What professional wrestling career?
Yeah, Bautista. So, my funniest scene actually doesn't come from the Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my god, I know it's a shock. So, my funniest scene actually comes from The Wolf of Wall Street. And that would be the introduction scene of the Quaaludes. So not the scene that everybody harps on about where, you know, like, where he crashes his car and stuff and then has that hilarious fight with Jonah Hill. Not that scene. That is very funny itself.
It's a great scene, yeah.
But this scene where the Quaaludes are very first introduced, where they're having a business meeting up, like they're on the kind of balcony type thing, and they're surrounding a pool table, and they're talking about business strategies or whatever, and then the voiceover by Jordan Belfort. See, look, you can see the Quaaludes. I think they're starting to react with Donnie right now. And Jonah Hill basically lurches over to the strains of classical music, goes into slow motion, lurches over the pool table and starts bashing the pool table with his shoe, shouting about women's shoes. Oh man, just that slow motion of him like knocking over drinks and like smacking the pool table with his shoe just makes me laugh so hard every time. And then in that same scene, when Jordan Belfort goes downstairs to meet his guests, he meets the beautiful girl who's going to play Harley Quinn for the first time. I've forgotten her name.
Margot Robbie. Yeah.
Margot Robbie, yeah. And then Jonah Hill comes down, lurches downstairs, like literally with his cock out, wanking over Margot Robbie in the middle of a public party. It's like, what? She's hard. Like, it's lowbrow, definitely, but man, that just makes me laugh so hard. I spend the entire few minutes of that movie like laughing my ass off. So there you go. That's my funniest scene. And that fits in right with the Choo Choo's philosophy, I guess. Yeah, the philosophy and image of the Choo Choo. Jonah Hill getting his cock out. And talking about the philosophy of the Choo Choo, that brings us on a nice segue to the next award, which would be the most annoying or stupid moment in a film.
Yeah, your camera on Skype is on, so I think like you talking could be the most annoying moments, but because nobody else can see it, I would pick something else, which would be like the super, like really lame action movie, The November Man with Pierce Brosnan, and especially like the stupid, like they really tried to have like the cool line, like they put it in the trailer, like, oh, do you know why we call you the November Man? Because after you press through, nothing lived. And it's such a stupid cliche line that I just started laughing while they said it in the movie and tried to be really serious about it. So yeah.
That doesn't even make sense. What does that mean?
Because like the November, it's cold, and that like stuff dies because it's really cold, because it's November. And no, it's a stupid line. And they really tried to enforce it being like really cool, but it doesn't work at all. So, Human Metal, how about you?
Most stupid, annoying movie, more worst performance, blah, 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 everything, goes to the kid in Babadook. But that was the point, because the movie put you in the shoes of the mother. So, yeah, but that was such a grating performance. And I know it was intentional, and it was supposed to be that way, but I wanted to punch that kid's light out so many times and was yelling at the screen, kick that fucking kid into the curb. It's annoying the shit out of me. I was about to turn off the movie because that kid was so annoying to me. So I guess the movie did what it was supposed to do. It turned me into the Babadook. So there you go.
Yeah, I heard somebody that like the Babadook could be used as like don't have kids commercial, because it's
holy shit,
it's so
holy fucking shit, man, no kidding. I was rooting for the monster to get that kid, like the entire time. I was like, man, fucking get it, abduct it into the demon world, kill it, I don't give a shit, but just extract it from this movie because it's annoying the shit out of me. So there you go.
Did you like the Babadook though? I heard, it's a pretty critically acclaimed film.
It took me a while to get into it. Like the first half of the movie, I was like really not connecting with that movie, mainly because of the kid's performance. It's supposed to, make you empathize with the mother and everything, but I'm not a mother, and I'm just like, I just want to smack that kid like really hard because it's so fucking annoying, and it's just goes. That's why I don't have kids, because I don't have the patience. I was like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. Okay, bam. Because like I don't I can't deal with that shit. Like, oh my god. And the first half of the movie is just that. It's the fucking kid screaming in your fucking face the entire time.
I hate to break it to you, Human Metal, but the first thing, the first reason you don't have kids is because you don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah, that too. That's for the better, probably. Also, but the second half of that movie is got me really engaged in, because then it gets into the atmospheric and scary parts. Once they actually get to the Babadook stuff, and yeah, that's cool. I like that part. It's just the first half just didn't do anything for me, besides enrage me.
That's what she said. But also, like, we shouldn't talk about Babadook, because Brack, I think, has said the word Babadook more than anything else he's ever said on the Radiophonic Sea Creatures. I'm telling you, people, backstage.
I haven't even seen the movie, but for some reason, that line in the trailers, it's just always like, want to repeat it because it sounds so weird.
Yeah, and he repeats it every single week for like the last couple of months. Babadook, Babadook. And he doesn't just repeat it once, he repeats it at least 3 times. Babadook.
So,
watch that movie and purge your obsession.
So to get off that tangent before Bragg says this one more time, Chuchu, what is your most stupid, annoying thing this year in regards of movies?
Okay, so my most stupid, annoying thing actually comes from a good movie. Yeah, so I don't mean to rag on the movie so much because it's a great movie, but it comes from I'm so drunk, I can't even say the title. Interstellar. There you go. Okay, and my most annoying thing is Christopher Nolan's dedication to wrapping up things. I've talked about this previously on the Radiophonic Sea Creatures, so I won't go into so much detail, but basically science fiction with mystery is a very interesting thing. I mean, 2001, when you went on the ride with I've forgotten his name, the guy who survives. No, does he survive? I don't know. He survives, and that's it. It's a mystery. We don't know. I got it. I remembered Bowman, Dr. Bowman. Yeah. So the Dr. Bowman, when you go on his ride fucking into the nether regions of space, and when you got all that weird imagery that Stanley Kubrick fires at you, you don't know what the fuck is going on. You have 0% of an idea of what is going on. And that's what makes that movie so fantastic, because after you've finished watching 2001: A Space Odyssey, you come out of that film and you think, what the fuck is going on? Like, what did I just see? What does that mean? And you theorize with yourself in your head. Like, it's a real thought-provoking film. That's great science fiction, The stuff that you don't understand, the stuff that's between the lines. Solaris too, the end of Solaris, no idea what happened, and it's all the more fantastic for it. But in Interstellar, like, Christopher Nolan decides that he's going to wrap everything up in a neat bow for you. Like, explains absolutely everything that happens at the end of Interstellar, because Interstellar kind of finishes with goes off on a kind of like a fantasy kind of sci-fi tangent a little bit. And then you think you've got this kind of weird stuff that you don't quite understand and is difficult to wrap your head around, and you think, yeah, this is great. I really want to know what happens here. And then fucking Christopher Nolan tells you exactly what happened. It's like one of those games that says, jump, and then won't let you continue until you press the jump button. It fucking annoyed me.
He leaves nothing to mystery. And maybe it's because like people complained about Inception, about the ending, that they didn't understand it for some reason. And it's like, you need to explain it more. And then he explained it completely. Like nothing is left to mystery in the ending of the movie. And sometimes I like that, but I think this movie could have improved if they left a little bit of the things like open to discussion. I think that would have improved like my overall feeling of the movie.
With that, we've come to the end of this week's Visit to the Ocean Floor. Please join us next time you wake up to find a crab or lobster clinging to your penis. With that, this is the Radiophonic Sea Creatures tuning out. lousy minx, I ought to have you spayed. You sent out all the signals, and you know what? I don't think I like you anymore. Goodbye, my unintended. Go to heaven.